What I'm about to show everyone is, in my opinion, the most profitable and, more importantly, the most altruistic project any of us will be involved in. And that's specifically, as Jake said, around the Camp Lejeune water contamination lawsuit, which is really the first litigation in a series of litigations that will deal with toxic exposure for the veterans who served over the last 20 years in the global war on terror. These are veterans who had their healthcare benefits expanded under the PACT Act, but only the veterans who had been stationed at Camp Lejeune were given the right to sue. So it's just the tip of the spear. So really what this project is meant to do is address the most critical needs of our community, which, as veterans, we know we're under attack. We've all heard the statistics, 22 daily suicides, although I've seen recent reports that that's creeping up. 30% of veterans can't receive treatment for PTSD. 30% of veterans have a disability after their tour of duty. And many of our veterans are struggling with food insecurity and homelessness. And, again, I'm preaching to the choir here, but thank you for your service is just not enough anymore, right? And there are many, many organizations that are out there trying to raise money for veterans by asking for donations. But this is a unique opportunity for us to go out and take that money in a straight up competition. So what am I talking about? My proposed solution: veterans versus lawyers in a battle for the Camp Lejeune legal awards. So this is a complicated topic and I only have a limited amount of time. So I encourage those who really want to look under the hood to get on my calendar. I'm happy to walk through. We just updated the pro forma to validate the numbers, and the numbers are compelling. And I encourage anybody who truly wants to write a sizable check to get on my calendar, and we'll walk through the numbers and you'll see for yourself. But broadly speaking, this litigation has $6 billion of taxpayer money set aside. It has been approved by law. And right now, Congress is pressing the Department of the Navy to start settling claims. All right. The legal fees associated with this tort are going to be between 20 and 40%. So that means between 1.2 and 2.4 billion dollars is going to be set aside of taxpayer money that would otherwise go to hedge funds and predatory lawyers, right? Who are trying to charge 40 to 50% of the legal fees. All right. My solution is a straight up competition with those predatory lawyers to take that money from them. Think of it as a raid on a soft target, right? We recapture that money and then we put that money back into the veteran community. All right. So again, litigation finance is very complicated. And the numbers, the returns on investments are extremely lucrative. So much so that there's cognitive dissonance where, as Jake said, I've been to Localvest before. I successfully raised $1 million, but only from 3 investors who more believed in the fight than they did in the returns. However, I can now validate the returns that I'm talking about. So what am I saying? Traction as of December 1st. So the litigation was passed about 1.5 years ago, but on September 6th, the Justice Department and the Department of the Navy announced what's referred to as an elective option, which is an accelerated program for a limited number of diseases. So it's a 10-page document that lays out the ground rules. So now there's no qualitative difference between the most successful law firms and what the perceived value of the law firm, a veteran-run law firm could be. So even playing field, all right? Then on October 19th, I entered into a relationship, a strategic joint venture with Homefront Law, which is a law firm run by a Naval Academy graduate, Chris Chaplack, Navy JAG. And think of the combined partnership of Victory Litigation and Homefront Law as a USAA of law firms, of nationwide law firms, right? Then on November 13th, the elective option was validated. The Navy paid out its first 3 claims for a total of $850,000, or roughly a little under $300,000 per claim. So it's law. They enacted the elective option, and now the elective option is paying, right? So that mitigates a significant amount of risk. And then most recently, I was able to secure the brand, the toll-free number, 1-800-VETERAN, and then the website, 1-800-VETERAN.com. So we have secure branding in this marketplace in a litigation that's going to disproportionately affect veterans over the next decade. So product market fit in terms of our ability to capture this money. So how are we going to do this? Again, complicated topic. This is using a security token. I know, outside of the box, tip of the spear, but a security token is nothing more than a liquid digital representation of a real world asset. And in this case, that real world asset is a legal claim, right? Which is backed by the full faith and credit of the US government. So don't get wrapped around the axle with regard to the security token. It's merely a rev share in the legal claim. And that rev share is for every $1 that I receive in investment, I will pay $10, right, in total return. Now, it takes several investment cycles to do that, so it's not one bite of the apple, but I can absolutely return 10x using those legal fees. Now, again, complicated topic, but what I've done is through a Reg D and a Reg CF is I'm able to price this token at a very low initial buy-in. I really wanted to price it where it was more like a scratch-off ticket, where you were betting more on the competitive benefit of our business model versus the predatory lawyers that are trying to take advantage of veterans. So for unaccredited investors, we priced it at $100 minimum investment, and for accredited investors, $1,000. So really what you're doing is you're placing a bet on veterans versus lawyers. Use of proceeds, 80 cents on every dollar goes into marketing to retain clients and to sell tokens. So there's a tremendous tooth to tail ratio here in terms of the amount of money that we deploy into operations. Think of this as synthetic equity in a plaintiff's contingency law firm, right? As opposed to an investment in a venture fund. So how did I come up with this structure? I've been in this space for a while, and honestly, I am a unicorn in the Camp Lejeune water contamination. I'm a class of 1989 Naval Academy graduate. I was stationed at Camp Lejeune. I'm a Marine Corps infantry officer, Desert Storm combat veteran. My family was personally affected by the Camp Lejeune water contamination. I have over 30 years of experience across multiple business sectors. I spent about over a decade on Wall Street. So that's how I've come up with this security token concept. I've been involved in litigation finance for even longer than that. Had a $40 million exit as a non-attorney in a DC law firm. I've generated over $500 million in legal fees for some very wealthy individuals. And now what I'm doing is I'm working with Congress, the House Oversight Committee, to provide transparency in third-party litigation finance as an SEC whistleblower. So I'm really doing work on behalf of veterans and taxpayers with this business model. And to that end, right, as I said, the most altruistic project any of us is ever working on, it's a concept referred to as strategic philanthropy, where we align a business model with a social cause. And in this, it's the veteran community's most pressing issues: food insecurity and homelessness, PTSD healthcare, toxic exposure treatment, right? And then the concept of this community where veterans are amongst veterans. So we take care of each other. But what I'm trying to do is establish an ethical high watermark in a very, very competitive and unscrupulous industry, and then donate 50% of my net profits into the cause, hopefully to encourage other law firms to do the same. So not only will the veteran community benefit from the profitability of this project, but hopefully we incentivize the law firms, the other lawyers that want to represent the veterans themselves to also give back to the community, right? So leadership by example. So that's my pitch, guys. This is a topic very near and dear to my heart. It's something, as I said, both my sons were born with neurobehavioral effects after my service at Camp Lejeune, and my youngest son passed away in 2016. So, this isn't a business model. This is a battle plan to make a difference. I encourage anyone who wants to join me on this fight, in this fight, get on my calendar and let's talk about how we can work together.